Hello everybody, my name is Jake Kim, and I'm here to show you about a game named VRChat. This is like a game where you guys can socialize and interact with friends, but today I'm not here for that. I'm here to tell you about the world called Drama Court. Now, in this video, we talked about motions, objections, but today we're going to be talking about amendments. Now, if you're a United States citizen, you know about the Bill of Rights, which we have our 10 amendments. Now, in this situation of Drama Court, which involves a virtual court, there are certain limitations to which I'm going to tell you certain amendments that can be used in case of violations. Now let's get right on to the First Amendment, which is which any American should know about, or any other foreigner that knows America should know about. The First Amendment is basically freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and the right to petition. Basically, it's like your guaranteed freedom, foundation of freedom. So it cannot be violated because you have every right as an American or a right as an American citizen to just do it with peace and do it with protection. Unless you have been dutifully abusing that right, unless you have been dutifully, sorry, um, violating any sort of things that can be related to crime, which limits your First Amendment. So, which is like your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent, yada yada yada. So keep that in mind for your limitation of the First Amendment. Second Amendment, which is firearms. Let's say, for example, we have a firearm here, on account of on account of illegal purchases. No, unless unless that person shows that they have legally purchased a gun. Like for example, we actually have legal purchases of a gun, and they come up to have them testify, right? So you can come up there and tell the prosecutor, especially the prosecutor. Nobody should even consider this as a violation of the Second Amendment. So let's say, for example, the defense attorney brings up the prosecutor. No, you brought up the legal purchase of their gun that show that they have shot a person, right? Now, now, what if I told now you stated that they did that in their home, right? Would you be surprised that it's a form of self-defense, and that you're violating the Second Amendment, their Second Amendment, which is basically they have the right to their right to their bear arms in their security of their home, unless they are even so, if they are military personnel. So that basically is a violation of the Second Amendment to the prosecutor or to the defense attorney, in a sense, in a way. So let's keep that in mind. There's usually the Third Amendment, but we're not going to go into that because it's quartering a soldier, so which should not be relevant to this virtual court. But what is important is the Fourth Amendment, seize and seizure. So anything that's not legally searchable or seized by the property government, by police officers or any form of military personnel, regarding search warrants, stop and frisk, safety inspections, wiretap, and other forms of surveillance, cannot be used, as this is a violation of privacy. So keep that in mind, that you cannot use and abuse this Fourth Amendment unless they have been legally set by probable cause, or by any form of circumstances from the police officers or by military personnel. Now, the main one, which is Fifth Amendment, which is I plead the Fifth, basically grants them the self protection against self incrimination, or grants them the right to a grand jury, forbids double jeopardy clause, which means that you cannot be tried for the same case twice. So that is something that you guys have to be watched about, unless this violates the 14th Amendment, which can be used later on, but we'll talk about. So basically, you cannot say anything. That is not in court yet, unless that person says I plead the fifth, in essence. Then they have to keep their mouth shut. Sixth Amendment, which is the rights to know your rights to a lawyer, rights to a speedy and public trial, rights to impartial jury, rights to know who your accusers are, and nature of the charges evidence against you. It's basically common sense to know who you're facing against. Otherwise, anybody could be in secrecy with your charges. So that is your Sixth Amendment. That is something that is common towards your traffic stops. You go to court for traffic violation, and all that too. You can actually say, Your Honor, can I actually know who my accuser is, and or rather, Your Honor, since I know who my accuser is, can I know what the charges are, or rather the nature of the charges? Then they'll say it to you, and then all that too. The officer or whatever too, because that's your right. That is your Sixth Amendment right. So yeah. But like I said, don't do that, though. Consult your attorney in case. Eighth Amendment. Most often mentioned it comes to the death penalty, cruel and unusual punishments. In virtual court, I don't think nobody's gonna just sentence into life in prison or death penalty, because they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna get killed or anything like that. So don't worry about the Eighth Amendment, but keep that in mind that this could be used in serious court, in the serious virtual court for these kind of amendments. Now the special one, which is the 14th Amendment, which is outside of the Bill of Rights, is basically the rights of citizens and the rights of citizenship, which is discriminatory rights against discrimination. So any form of race, any form of gender, any form of age can be used because let's say for example a minor can be used for a cruel and unusual punishment because they're because it violates the 14th Amendment because they're a minor at that time, or oh, because they're a girl, oh, because they're black, oh, because they're Asian, oh, because they're white. So that's something you guys gotta watch out for when being an attorney, because that's unethical. So discriminatory rights, that's something that you should be watching for. That violates their 14th Amendment. That's something that cannot be used in virtual court also. Obviously, you guys can't do that. That's you guys are looking at as assholes. Forget my French, but you guys are looking at as assholes for the 14th Amendment. So keep that in mind when you guys are playing serious court in the virtual sense. So that's all the amendments that I think that is important to the virtual court, and I think that is very necessary because if you guys know your amendments and you guys see that they're trying to be unethical, then you guys can point that out to the judge, a good judge in a sense. Okay, that is all the amendments, I believe. If you guys like that, you guys can click the subscribe button. Once again, I'm not an attorney. I know people keep saying I sound like an attorney, but I just happen to know these are various web sources. So if you guys need to help legal advice, so consult your actual attorney to your nearest state. Once again, I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.